Shadow.
I'm Mick.
And welcome back to Mindbreakers.
Mindbreakers.
And, yeah, as we said last time, we're doing Crazies.
I'm excited for this one. I've seen this a long time ago. I
saw a bit of it and decided to stop watching and save it for the show.
To be fair, I think I watched it before I met you guys. I watched this over 10 years ago, so...
I watched it because it's George Romero.
Yeah, I think it was just playing on TV.
This was from 1973, rated R, and with a score of 6.1, which is a good lot better than last week's offering.
I feel like a 9, but...
Yeah, George Romero, the late great legend George Romero.
Shouts to George Romero.
The military attempts to contain a man-made combat virus that causes death and permanent insanity in those infected. As it overtakes a small Pennsylvania town. Now, there are some actors we recognize in this. Richard France, who is the eye patch guy from Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
He's in this. Have you seen Day of the Dead?
Yes.
Dr. Logan.
Okay,
is in this movie. I can't remember who he plays. It's I've heard good things. There's a remake I've also heard good things about, and we haven't
I've seen the remake, and it's pretty good.
I was going to say that we haven't seen George Romero, but we did, actually, before Halloween, Creepshow.
Yes.
Creepshow was a George Romero.
That's true, that's
Keep
right.
forgetting that. But before that, the last one we had seen was Knight Riders.
Oh, fuck.
And Knight Riders, in my humble opinion, is a classic.
Yeah.
Because only George Romero would decide to make who at this point was famous for the zombie movies, would decide, fuck you. I'm making a 2-hour movie which is an adaptation of La Mort d'Arthur with bikers at a Ren fair.
And it was good.
It was really, it was a little long.
A little bit long, but it was good.
It was classic.
I know a lot of people that call this one a classic too.
I've heard good things about it. I know Gio really likes the remake.
Yeah, I like the remake too. I've seen both.
I've not seen the remake.
I've seen the remake recently, not this one.
I have seen a good John Carpenter.
George
A. Romero remake. That's the Night of the Living Dead from the 90s.
Yes,
that one's very good.
That one's
the Tom
very
Savini
good.
one.
Yeah.
A lot of people claim that the Hack Snyder Dawn of the Dead. I hate it. I hate that movie. But I have a whole video about it when we reviewed that back in the day. But it's a whole other story. But we're gonna watch
the Crazies.
The Crazies.
I'm really excited for this one.
We were going originally. This I did have this one scheduled to come out around 2020, 2021. But I figured it maybe wasn't the right time to do a pandemic film.
Just getting the vaccines, just starting it. We're coming out, yeah.
Because I do remember, before we do the trailer, get into the whole thing. Little funny story about during COVID. I was watching a lot of like zombie and infection movies while I was on lockdown.
Yeah,
having a good time. Like Omega Man, Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead,
classics.
Fun shit.
Yeah.
Put on 28 Days Later. Movie was great.
I love 28 Days.
The movie's great. I love the movie. And then I look at the bonus features and I like the making of 28 Days Later. I'm like, ooh, that looks interesting. It's going to be like anecdotes from filming it, explaining how they emptied sections of London to get some of those shots.
Yeah.
I turn it on. Viral infections and how they're going to kill everyone. Like, no, it's fine. I don't need to.
Brighter note: if you haven't seen how they did the empty streets of London for that movie, look at the bonus features. It's very good. It's very interesting how they did it.
The only bonus feature I had was that.
No, sorry, there was a making of thing somewhere. Oh, okay. I remember it exists, but it's very good if you can find it.
So yeah, let's watch The Crazies.
I'm excited. Let's do it.
We never thought it would happen.
Nobody gets in or out of their town now. Is that clear?
The girl just died. How do you intend to let the people know about all this?
We were asleep. They dragged us right out of the house.
Are we under martial law?
Don't talk to me or anybody else unless you got a voice print check. All hell's broke loose in town. Nobody knows what's going on.
Now look, you just can't push us around this way. We've got to get a nuclear weapon in the air above that town.
I taking me no place.
Oh, man, this is easy.
They started something they can't stop. The Crazies. Something that inflames. Something that brutalizes. It's madness unleashed by human error. The Crazies. Can they tame it before time runs out?
I'm a key man on the Crazies team. A key man. I'm one of the developers of the goddamn thing.
Now, if you want me to get the job done, you get me the stuff I need, and you get it the hell in here before the morning's over.
A small town becomes a giant stockade. Evans City must be contained or leveled.
We're all concerned with Evans City, Mr. Hawks.
If we have to push the button, we just say the weapon went off.
Get me the president.
3,614 people are trapped by an unknown enemy. 5 are on the run. Can they escape the spreading fury of the Crazies?
We can make it. I know it.
Stop it! Stop it! They're coming, David! David, they're coming.
Move. We gotta get out of here.
Jesus, man. And I want a weapon search of the entire town.
Watch it, Bucky! This is exactly the kind of thing we're trying to prevent.
A lethal terror snowballs into hell.
In there!
Madness runs rampant.
We'll dope it out. Sooner or later. Sooner or later.
The Crazies.
Well, that certainly was practice for Dawn of the Dead.
It sure was.
This movie is interesting because it's some early pre-Dawn of the Dead George Romero.
And there's still some good stuff in this movie.
Though the thing is, it's. I've seen older movies by him that are better. Night of the Living Dead is a classic. It's just. It's not what it doesn't. It doesn't provide what it says it's going to provide.
Yeah.
There's about 2 scenes of crazy people killing people.
The intro.
Well, 3 then.
Yeah.
There's that. There's the intro with the kids.
The old lady.
There's the old lady with the knitting needle, and then there's the people who run at the soldiers, and someone gets stabbed in the arm with a pitchfork. That is it.
Yeah.
The rest is military not knowing what the fuck to do. Some chaotic editing just to show how disorganized it is.
Sure is.
It's annoying, but I know why they're doing it. And then we're following our cast of characters, who's none. I don't know any of their names except I think Clanker because he's fucking called Clanker. Of course,
I don't
know.
remember any of them either. It's because they don't usually really call each other by their names.
No.
I mean, I watched this a long time ago, and I thought it was a bit better. But you rewatching it,
I've seen better movies.
Yeah,
It's seen better movies by the same director. I've also seen worse movies by the same director because Survival of the Dead is still pretty bad.
hell, I think fucking the remake's probably better than this.
Well, it seems to have more of what I watched this to see.
Yeah, that's all right.
So we start there, these kids trying to scare each other, and then their dad is like hitting stuff with a crowbar and sets kerosene and has killed their mom, so they escape. The little girl dies.
The boy stays alive.
And then there are firemen being told to put out the fire and then not put out the fire.
We never see again.
No, the 2 main guys are firemen.
No, I mean like the rest of the team.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you just don't see them again after a while.
One of the fire people, he's like, I'm going to go fight the fire because I hear the alarm and I'm a fireman. And his girlfriend's like, no.
Like,
And what do you mean, no? This is literally life or death.
And then her boss calls her, who's a doctor.
And she's a nurse. And he's like, no, you can't go. It's like, guys, both of your jobs are literally life and death. Get the fuck moving.
And then they do move. They get to their places. The main dude meets his friend, I assume.
Yeah. Clanker.
Who was probably in love with his girlfriend.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
And he's dickhead about it the entire movie.
So the military is doing their thing. They're like, hey, this is like experimental virus thing, which they find out later was a bioweapon
instead of a vaccine.
They thought it was a vaccine. So it was like, but an airborne vaccine would do nothing. So why would they believe that?
Yeah, they're dumb. You see them in this movie?
Yeah, fair. So they
start talking about the quarantine.
They bring in two actors who would later go on to be in Dawn of the Dead. They bring in Eye Patch Man, who's a super doctor.
Yep.
And an asshole. And they bring in the black TV talk show host.
Yep.
And these two actors are really good at arguing, like having very heated arguments. But they have this inoculation for the bioweapon. The nurse steals one and escapes to get to her.
Which the doctor lets her do. Because
tells her to do.
He tells her to do. She's pregnant.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want her or the baby to be in town if he knows something weird's going on here.
The soldiers suit up in white hazmat suits. Well, not hazmat. Anti-contamination suits. Hazmat suits are those bigger yellow things.
The yellow things, yeah.
And they got gas masks. And are surprised when them bursting into people's houses is going to scare them. These faceless men with guns.
Yeah, like at some point, some of these soldiers are like, "Well, sure, we're trying to contain it, but they keep shooting at us."
Yeah, because
like,
we're
terrifying.
terrifying.
Why?
Because you guys look.
And it's not like they're saying that they're the government or they're the U.S. Army. They're just busting down doors and telling people to get up and go.
One of them gets stabbed. A woman stabs one with a knitting needle. A child shoots at one of them with a plastic Uzi.
One starts beating them up.
Yeah.
Rooting for the kid. Get him. Get him. Fight the establishment.
They kill someone's mom with a flamethrower.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they're using flamethrowers to burn the corpses. And just general confusion, and
That's like most of the movie, by the way.
We're not, and they're doing their thing. They're not really important. We'll get to them in a bit. They have only like two or three other important scenes. Then our two firemen and the nurse meet up with young Dr. Logan from Day of the Dead, my favorite Romero movie.
Yeah. And
his irritating daughter, who is like, I won't let her date. I'm like, but she's clearly like 25. What are you talking about? She's infected because she acts really weird. She has a really annoying, breathy voice. I don't like her. I was happy when they killed her off. And then they hole up in a house. She almost gets them killed by wanting to go tell the soldiers where they are.
Yeah. And the other fireman, Clanker.
Yeah. Dr. Logan freaks out and tries to rape his daughter.
Sure does.
Who seems into it. So Clanker kills him.
Well, Clanker beats the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Cuts to the next scene, he's dead.
He kicks him down the stairs. And then the soldiers show up, and the daughter goes outside and is trying to get close to one of them, and they just shoot her because she's clearly infected.
Now it's our two dudes. Our two dudes and nurse left.
Yeah.
But other guys clearly... He knows he's infected. You know he has what he calls the bug.
Yeah, he does a last stand.
Gets a fucking few number of them, too.
Yep. And, while this is all happening, the thing is, this is a long movie, but not a lot really happens in it. It's more, the point is, like, the chaotic editing.
Yeah.
It's less story, more editing, playing with editing.
You're seeing, like, a lot of, like, the consequences, the army fucking up, the actual real, like, criticisms that this doctor is portraying against the army, being like, how the fuck am I supposed to... Like, they have, like, a voice line thing that they need to check to make sure it's the guy who's on the intercom.
Hey, I need you to make a cure to this vaccine, to this thing. Cool, I need this, and this. We don't have that. Well,
Then why'd you bring me here?
I can't do it.
Like, you gotta remember, they brought this guy into town
Yeah.
to do this virus. He's like, but I could have done that at home.
From my lab.
With my shit.
And it would be done by now. But no, you had to drag me all the way here.
Because they didn't want the blood to get out. They couldn't cause a contamination outside of the city. He's like, that's fucking stupid.
So he does miraculously working in this fucking high school science lab. He does isolate it and find a cure. So I found the cure.
And he tells them that he did it. Like, he's like, this is urgent. I'm on my way if they ask where I am.
And then
important.
there's a stampede and he falls down the stairs.
Well, first the army doesn't even try to let him out.
Breaks the vial and and hits his head and dies. And then they're talking to the president. And like, okay, yeah, we're gonna nuke this city. And pretend like the plane was carrying nukes and happened accidentally.
They don't want to do it right away.
I gotta say, never a good idea. Because nukes are, this is the 70s?
Yeah.
This is 73. Cold War still happening.
Yeah, I mean,
Russia or China's gonna see you launching your nuke and get really fucking concerned.
One of our characters even mentions that he was a Nam.
So. Yeah, they're gonna get really interested in what you're doing.
Yeah. And
possibly retaliate. And the other thing is, alright, assuming you deal with the problem, the radiation's gonna go where it goes, and then any wind or rain is going to blow the fallout wherever, and now you have a much bigger problem.
Because they do find out that when they were creating the bioweapon, it fell in the water. Because a plane crashed, and that's where it ended. So, like, anyone who's drank water...
Which is why they're eating the soup directly out of the can.
Yeah. Like, anyone who drank water or whatever, they're probably infected with it.
Yeah.
So, you know, fucking... They didn't really need to worry about it spreading out, because it's in the water, and they even talk about how the water is pretty isolated where it is. It's just this town that's mainly using it.
The problem is that our heroes are infected and trying to leave. And presumably, other people who we haven't been following are also trying to leave because they got to Louisville.
Like, it's really how everything could have just been so contained because they knew where it was being isolated from.
Mm-hmm.
Could have found the antidote very easily. But this whole movie is just about people fucking up.
I'm the government. I'm the reason nothing works.
And that's the whole movie. That right
also,
there. Also,
weirdly, instead of showing the president in shadow, because they obviously don't want to have whoever the fuck it was in 1973, the camera's just looking at the top of his head.
Top of his head.
Actually, who was the president?
And fucking, like, all the dudes in suits who are sitting in the government building are just arguing with each other the whole time.
Like, this is, like, elements from this would come into play and some of the endings would come into play in Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
works so fucking well there. Yeah. But here, also, so all our heroes get killed. They hide the woman, the nurse, in a cinder block hut that they build.
Main hero dude does his thing. He beats up one of the guys, dresses up as one of them. Mm-hmm. He's getting ready to make a run for it.
A little tall, only a little short to be a stormtrooper.
But he gets his girlfriend out, and he hears shooting in the background, and he realizes that it's not the army, it's actually people. Mm. So he starts shouting at them.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
What was it?
Richard Nixon.
I figured it was Richard. He's like,
you know what? This is a lot more people.
Yeah. Never mind, it all makes sense. We'll be good. His girlfriend gets shot.
Yeah.
And so in retaliation, he shoots back.
Yep.
Because, okay, if they're not fucking listening to me, then maybe they're just nuts. Some kid who I think he knows pops out.
Says touche.
And he's like, he looks at his girl dead. He's like, hey, touche, man, because he killed his dad. Yeah. And I'm like, bro.
Not the time.
Not the top. First off, you caused this first.
He might be, apparently he might be immune.
The main guy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so. Brought to the government lab. And then the black guy leaves on a helicopter to go to Louisville because the disease is spread thanks to our quote unquote heroes.
Yep.
And so it's implied that the world might be fucked.
A little bit.
But, yeah.
Well, they have what they were working on towards the answer. So hopefully...
No, what was working on, the guy took in the test tube.
Oh, no, because they had the little fucking thing that she mashed together. Like, they still had that.
Oh, okay, at least.
Yeah, I think they mentioned that, like, they had, like... They had the things that they were working towards, but they didn't know what the answer was specifically because only he did. And then he, Kirby tilted and tumbled down the stairs and fucking died. That was the whole movie, by the way, and that's like an hour and 40 minutes.
As I said, it's interesting as like historical.
Yeah,
but not. I'm not sure I'd recommend this one.
Yeah, honestly, just watch the remake.
Yeah, I haven't seen the remake. I've heard it seems like it has more of the.
It's this, but with more action. Like I think that's kind of the thing that it was missing, from what I remember anyway. But yeah, this is definitely. I saw this one a long time ago, so I thought it was better. But rewatching it with you.
Also, I've seen a Cronenberg movie that does this but better.
Which one?
Rabid.
Oh yeah.
The one that takes place in Montreal and there's a zombie outbreak on a metro car, which I totally haven't
thought of
imagined happening while I'm on a cramped car. Someone being a zombie.
Oh yeah. Especially in the scary times. Yeah, no, I mean, I guess if you're curious, check it out, because it's Romero.
Yeah, I think you can find it on YouTube.
Probably find it on YouTube, somewhere online.
But check out Night Riders instead. It's
honestly,
longer, but it's more interesting.
I think if Night Riders was this length, it'd be perfect.
The thing is, Night Riders also doesn't have a whole lot of action, but it has more compelling characters and a more, like...
Well, yeah, because they have time to...
Morgan. I remember character names.
Yeah.
And had Tom Savini in it.
Sure did.
If this had Tom Savini in it, we made.
Oh, yeah.
But I think he was a nun.
Yeah.
Because Tom Savini wasn't which is why he wasn't able to do the special effects of the original Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Because he was in Vietnam taking photos of dead bodies. And that is why he does gore special effects so well. He is the master.
Legend. And he's still doing it.
He's still doing it.
It's insane. He's still working on shit.
He's in for Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
As Sex Machine. He gets killed off in a Lost Boys sequel for some reason.
Of course he's in a Lost Boys sequel. Good Lord.
Dies in the first 5 minutes.
Nice.
But he is truly a master of special effects.
Oh yeah. And his kid is also helping out with him now, so that name's only gonna keep going for God knows how long.
He's apparently people say he's a dick, but what do you expect when you ambush a guy at a con to show your fucking portfolio to him?
Well, he's
not there to hire you. He's there to sign autographs.
Well, that and bro, he just makes makeup effects.
Also, if you show him your portfolio, and you ask for his opinion, and he thinks your portfolio and your portfolio's not good,
he's gonna tell you.
It doesn't make him an asshole.
No. He's just a dude who makes shit.
Yeah, he does.
Just and MB.
Acts occasionally.
Yeah.
He's in Dawn of the Dead. He's a machete biker.
He's in Night Riders.
Yeah. He's the Black Knight, Morgan.
Sure is.
He's in Land of the Dead.
Yep.
He's Machete Zombie.
I love that man.
He's great.
Fucking legend in the movie industry.
He directed the Night of the Living Dead remake, one of the better remakes.
Shit, he did. That's right. What a legend! Holy shit.
He made Fluffy and all the other effects for Creepshow.
Yeah.
And it was on other garbage men. Should have been in this.
Yeah, he should have. But
this didn't need makeup effects for some reason. So
no, but it's just normal people.
He designed Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
The horror master. Anyway, next week, we are not looking at a horror movie.
Whoa!
We're looking at a sci-fi action movie starring the Muscles from Brussels and Ivan fucking Drago.
Oh, Christ.
So, look forward to... I just want to see this one, so it's on the list.
Fair enough.
I also think it has sequels, so that's part of the reason. We've also never seen Jean-Claude Van Damme, and we've never gotten to talk about a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. And I think it's the time.
I think it's time.
So we'll see you then. I'm Mark D'Amato.
I'm a Matt.
See you next time.
See ya.
Bye.